How you doing? I'm Stefan Lambert, back here with BTV, and I'm talking with another conference participant. This individual, I've watched him and I've listened to him giving people advice. It's like he doesn't even have to think about it. He doesn't have to contemplate. I saw him taking notes and referring to notes, but this is just the type of people that get attracted to a place where there's a lot of other people that want to learn how to do things. So these type of conferences are really great. So I'm really glad to be here with Royce. And Royce is from Omega Insurance. So Royce, how do you like the conference so far?
Oh, I love it. Wonderful. Perfect platform for the minority business owner to get out and have opportunities and see the opportunities that are available, especially for this high-speed rail project that's coming in.
Fantastic. Tell me now, what are you doing? I could kind of sort of hear so much going on. It sounded like, financial services, but one thing that came across, whenever you're talking to people, you're looking them in the eye.
Yes.
And you seem to be just focused on them. It was like a counselor in a sense, but you're talking business. So I don't know, what you're really saying, but you really seem to be attentive to the individuals that you were talking to.
Yes. That is my whole premise. And the way you stated that, I like the way you stated it. I look at myself as a teacher.
Yeah.
And plain and simple, I do math each time. The math doesn't change, even though the denominations change. The structure of the math is all the same. So, in a sense, I am a teacher.
It's wonderful. I never wanted to interrupt you when you were doing it, but I knew I had to have you in here and talk, because I wanted people to be exposed to somebody that seems to like get excited, in helping people. But I just didn't want to interrupt. I'm so glad that you made time to, come into our mobile TV station,
right,
as I would call it. I hope everything is comfortable.
Perfect. I couldn't ask for a better format with BTV here. I believe it's a wonderful premise and an opportunity to get the information out as a whole to the community that is in need.
Right.
My pretense is that once we do that math, we all have that same knowledge, and now we can play this game that we're actually forced to play.
Wow.
Because if you've got to play a game, you do need to know the rules and the structure of that game that you're playing.
Right. I know for me, when I see and I hear people who are as knowledgeable as you are, it's a little intimidating in the sense where I don't feel like I can do it, or I feel like, okay, what classes did this guy take? What did he major in? I don't think I can really do it without a whole lot of studying.
Actually, it's quite the contrary. It's basic math 101. You just have to learn how to apply it. And it's very simple. And like I said, I consider myself a teacher. My structure never changes. I talk about the same thing the same way every time, because in fact, it doesn't change, only the denomination.
What type of people are you able to help? Do they have to be in a certain category or
any
financial status? Really?
Any and all.
Yes. Let me give you an example. Let's say it's a single parent that's going to school but only working part-time.
Well, in that case, there's other opportunities for them to make actual cash. Because my main premise in this industry is that to structure people on how they can obtain what they want for their retirement through life insurance.
But how much time would it take? I mean, reasonable.
It depends on one's age and their denomination, because we all have a different number in mind. Let's say, for instance, your number is different than mine,
right,
as opposed to John or Jim down the street.
Right.
We all have a different denomination that we have ingrained in our brain that we feel we're going to need to retire on. So at that point, it really just revolves around the basic math which I teach. You mentioned my background, my educational background. It's funny that you mentioned that because I've always loved math.
Yeah.
It's always been my favorite subject all the way through school. When I started in high school, I actually tutored math for the last 3 years in high school. And to me, right now, what I'm doing is exactly the same thing. I'm just not in high school. I'm tutoring math with individuals. With the Lord's blessing and my aptitude, I believe we have a great combination.
That's wonderful. Is there any tips you can give somebody that, I don't know, might be something that people overlook, or even in planning or a mindset? What would you say to the people out there, in general, that could maybe help them along?
That's a great question, Steph. It's almost a two-part question with a two-part answer. The main premise is, I read this book a while back, and when the gentleman spoke in the book, the preface of the book, it stated that we tend to make this thing a little more confusing than it needs to be.
Yeah, overthinking.
And it is basically math 101.
Okay.
So what we need to do is just figure out the basic math that we want to apply in our own individual case, and then go forward. For example, average person believes that tax-deferred growth is better. But if you do the math, you realize that you actually offer up more money in taxes by growing it tax-deferred rather than actually paying your tax and then growing it and not having to share with Uncle Sam. Because the gentleman that read the book, I loved one of his words, or the way he phrased it. He said that there is nothing immoral or illegal about not paying Uncle Sam more than what he's due.
Wow.
So
that sounds very different from the impression, that you get from a lot of mainstream corporations and things like that. You know what I think? Sometimes there might be vocabulary confusion.
Correct.
Because I know it comes to my mind when you say like tax deferred. I probably like subconsciously it sounds like tax evasion.
Right.
Right. Is that kind of common? Because that's what like
a lot of people do think that, but once they see the math and it comes, when I simplify it, because when I do the math, I don't have to do the math. I will share the pen with my client. I'll let them do their own math. We'll just discuss our way through each topic.
Right.
And they'll come to this conclusion that I have, that this one over here is far better than the others.
Wow. It sounds like financial consulting and understanding the math, even if it's 101, could be really a necessity if people want to change things around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But we have to change the mindset, because I speak with people all the time and they say, yeah, the rich can do it. No, we all can do it. We all can gain from it. But we have to learn how to apply it first, just like they do.
That sounds great. Okay, so Omega Insurance Services.
Yes, sir.
I've heard the commercial.
Right.
It's impressive.
Yes. And I am the life agent, and Fred is the president, Fred Prince. And we have a wonderful business relationship because he and I are both math guys.
Yeah.
And we understand the math, and we're trying to put that out there as a whole for the community, not just to avoid these car washes, but more for people for have growth within that, because now the newer innovations to that industry allow this, and they allow tax-free growth on top of this. Mm-hmm. So once you see the math, you'll go, well, I get this and this and this and all of these other benefits that go along with it. It's a no-brainer.
How about that? Well, look, thank you so much for your time. This is insightful. We have to get back together and give some more of this great information. This is just the type of thing. See, it was benefiting me, and that's always the best. And I've always respected you. We've known each other for a long time. Still haven't had a chance to play golf with you.
Well, hopefully we'll have that chance.
Yeah. But thanks a lot. This is BTV, and we are at the conference for contractors and job seekers for the high-speed rail. Thanks a lot. Really good. I like that.
Thank you,
I want
man.
you to stay right there. And I'm
You
gonna get
need
some
to send me a
close-ups.
copy of that.
Okay. And what I'm gonna have you do is, I'm going to